Well, welcome to the Scottsdale Vibes podcast. I'm Alicia Haygood. I'm very excited about this week's episode. I really am. I probably say that every week because it's so great to introduce you to new things that are going on in Scottsdale. But this week is something that's very near and dear to my heart, and that is mental health awareness. For those of you who have been listening for the 5-6 years with me, you know I take this seriously. I'm a huge proponent of talking about it. And May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so let's all just take a moment to take in and check on ourselves, our friends, our loved ones, to really ask, are you really okay? Because sometimes we are and sometimes we aren't. But that is what Solari is here for here in Arizona, to help us with all of our needs. So I'm very excited to have the CEO, Justin Chase, here to talk about the crisis response, the 988 Lifeline, and how we can better connect people to care when they need it most. But first, let's check in with our favorite Sean Shackleton, real estate agent here in Scottsdale. For over 25 years, Sean Shackleton, real estate agent, has guided buyers and sellers with straight talk, smart strategy, and data that keeps you ahead of the market. If you want a calm pro who won't let you sell for less, reach out to Sean at 480-734-7277 or visit theshackletongroup.com and make your next move a winning one. As mental health becomes a higher topic of conversation, with crisis support and human connection are topics that really affect all of us, whether directly or through someone that we care about. And here in Arizona, one organization plays a critical role in making sure people can help get access whenever they need it most, and that's Solari. Joining me today is Justin Chase, CEO of Solari Crisis and Human Services. Justin is a nationally recognized leader, in behavioral health, crisis response system, and organizational leadership, with more than 2 decades of experience across human services, child welfare, and healthcare innovation. His work has focused on building sustainable, high-performing systems that really connect people to care in moments that matter most. And he also serves on national and international boards focused on crisis response, including the 988 Lifeline. He's also the author of Heart-Led Leadership, centered on building organizations rooted in compassion, resilience, and purpose. So today we're going to talk about the role Solari can play here in Arizona, how services like 988 are critical to our healthcare system, how we respond to crises, and what it really means to lead with empathy and connection in today's world. So, I said so much about you. I don't really know what else you could talk about. Thank you so much for being here. Most importantly, thank you for your work, because I feel like I always try to find, I'm a glass half full kind of person, and I feel like the more we are talking about mental health, the less taboo it's becoming in our lifestyle. I have a therapist. I tell everyone this. I think everyone should have their therapist. So for people who aren't familiar with, what is Solari and what does it play here in Arizona?
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
It's an important topic and definitely an important period. So Solari Crisis and Human Services, we've been around. We're founded right here in Tempe in the East Valley, and in 2007, we're a nonprofit crisis and human services provider. So we're honored to be able to provide the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline work for the state of Arizona right here, and support through other programs. We do housing insecurity, housing assistance, the 211 information referral programming, and some veteran support programs and other areas. But our primary focus, especially in Mental Health Awareness Month, is on the crisis line work that we do.
Let's talk about the crisis line. It's something that's fairly new, actually, right? It's not. How long has 988 been around?
988 is definitely new.
Okay.
The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline's been around since 2005.
Okay.
But the 988 started in 2022.
Okay, I thought it was fairly new here. Talk about what that is and really what it's done for you all since it started here in Arizona.
Yeah, it has been a watershed moment for us in the industry to really be able to tackle things like you mentioned, taboo and stigma related to mental health, and really make sure that folks feel connected and accessible. We want mental health to be treated just as much as healthcare, primary healthcare does, and we really view it as a safety net service for individuals that are facing their hardest day.
What kind of, obviously we're not going into details, but when you're getting these calls, are you seeing a certain demographic? Are you seeing a certain issues coming through that more people are calling than other, to kind of see what's going on in the world, like a pattern in that sense?
We do see differences from age demographics and reasons for call. We do track all of that as individuals contact us and families contact us. There's a seasonality to it. So during the school year, we'll see a heightened use of school age individuals.
I love that for them.
Absolutely. We do a lot of partnership and collaboration with groups like Teen Lifeline to make sure that if there's a need for a clinical intervention, then those calls can be coordinated with us. And then we're supporting the whole age spectrum. And there's no demographic that is immune to crisis needs.
Very true.
And we continue to work on marketing to make sure the word gets out to folks that these services are available 24/7.
You can call or text, which is, I think, is important especially when you talk about these adolescents these days. I mean, I'm a texter too. I love phone calls, but talk about that and how that's kind of really new age generation to make sure everyone has access to.
Absolutely. We want to make sure that we're communicating with folks in their preferred method of connection. So we're doing the telephonic, which has been around for a while. I'm the same.
I was about to say, the word, you just aged yourself saying the telephonic, but I'm with you. I know.
It's but text and chat both are accessible, and those volumes are increasing year over year exponentially. So especially since 988 went live, we've seen more than tripling of the volume of text for mental health support.
I call, I text, what happens?
Yeah, so once an individual outreaches 988, you're going to be able to engage with a clinician. So they're going to be a trained specialist who has experience in mental health, substance use, and typically a degree in counseling, social work, or marriage and family therapy. First, we're going to make sure that you're safe. We're going to make sure that we're addressing the immediacy. Sometimes people call us, they may have taken a bottle of pills or harmed themselves or some other safety issue that we need to address immediately. And we will tackle that first. Then we're going to work in partnership with them to come up with a plan and a strategy. We really view the work on 988 as an empowering experience. We want to make sure folks feel that they are connected, that they are heard, that they are valued, and making sure that they understand that they have purpose here on earth.
Yeah.
And that our goal here is to continue.
You often say that Solari is about inspiring hope. What does those two words mean?
Inspiring hope is about connection and meeting people where they are. Again, these can be dark days, and being able to, that phone can be really heavy to lift up. That text message can be really hard to type out. And so we want to make sure that folks feel comfortable. And for us, hope is bringing the best out of you and understanding that there's value in to continue going.
You kind of mentioned, I get distracted because I agree with you, and I feel like when we find the hope, we see the hope in everyone, we bring that out, and then they can see it themselves. You know, like the glass half full I was telling you. You talked about this at the beginning. It's not just a crisis helpline. You do stuff with the veterans. You do stuff with everyone. Talk about your broader resources that you offer to Arizonans.
Yeah, especially coming out of COVID, we are continuing to see stress that are impacting folks, and so we really want to work with individuals and meet them where they are. And so we work through the phone, we work through the chat, we work through the web. And so our 211 information referral is a great resource. It's been in the Arizona offering since 1965.
Wow, that's huge for us, I think.
It's huge. And so being able to have, if you're struggling with food, to put food on the table, utility assistance, as we're getting ready for heat relief and heat impact, rides and transportation needs, and housing insecurity, or folks that are facing eviction. We want to make sure that we're connecting with them, and we have great partnerships with various foundations and state partners that actually help us provide temporary rent assistance if needed to keep a family in the home.
Yeah, I love that.
Statistically, if once an individual or family becomes homeless, it takes on average 2 years to return to stable housing. And if we can prevent that moment, and we have huge success in providing just 1 month's rent to being able to wrap around that individual or family and keep them housed.
As someone who, I'm very very lucky. I've never been without, but there are definitely moments in life where you go through your ups and downs. To have that stress, I understand a little bit of that. I can only imagine the extreme, of that on someone, especially with family or by themselves. 2 years to get out of that. That's a long time. I can only imagine what that does to you mentally. You have been in this for many, many years, for decades. What kind of changes have you seen? What progress have you seen in the mental health industry when it comes to even the taboo being, lessened some, to the progress that we've made? And what kind of progress do we still need to make in this industry?
No, it's lots of opportunities. You're aging me a bit, yes, with the decades of experience. Still hurts sometimes.
Listen, I'm right there with you. We're the same. We're fine.
The
experienced life.
Experience, yes, seasoned, I guess, is what I'm hearing. No, the mental health has been a it's a part of the conversation which it hasn't been before, in a way, and viewed not as weakness but strength.
Yes.
Oftentimes you'll hear, and I'll speak to it as well, is that we want, these are survivors. If you're struggling with mental health or substance use challenges, it takes a lot of strength to pick yourself up and to keep going.
And to admit that, first step, I think,
absolutely.
is the hardest part,
Absolutely. And so we've made a lot of headway from addressing stigma, but also meeting people where they are and families where they are, in the communities, in their homes. For us at Solari, our primary focus is to keep people and families together in the community with their natural supports, with their friends, with their family, however they want to define that. So that's paramount for us. What we're trying to do is engage individuals and then connect them to what's next. And so it's not a one and done interaction when you contact 988. You're going to be able to connect to resources if you need a mobile crisis team or a facility to connect with. If we're not able to take care of it in the home, then we need to be able to coordinate care. So we're seeing a lot of progress in those spaces over the years. We want to continue to see that into the future.
You specifically work on a lot of building systems and check and balances. How has that helped really become more accessible and effective when it comes to meeting people where they are?
To me, the mental health support and the crisis support that's available out there today that we're honored to be a part of a much bigger system, it works. It's not just a check the box or a nice to have or a feel good moment. It actually changes lives. It improves outcomes when we're talking about saving on law enforcement and unnecessary incarcerations and unnecessary emergency room utilizations. And again, we're focused on keeping people in the home. We're continuing to see that impact trickle down continuously.
You talked about when you use these resources, people at Solari tend to have, a degree in therapy or social work and stuff like that. I think that's important to have that background. Why do you think that with burnout is so big right now? How are you keeping your people mentally healthy and ready? Because they are hearing and seeing the worst of the worst too. It's not just one person. There's multiple people. And I think that speaks volumes to who you are to deal with your own health when you're in these crisis modes.
No, that's a great point. Supporting the workforce is a huge part of my role, and making sure that our staff are supported and engaged, because they hear people on their worst day, and they're coaching folks through, or they may end a call and not know what happened after that.
That's scary.
So that's heavy.
Yeah.
For folks.
Right. Just in the empathetic way, that's scary. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so for us, it's about taking care of the folks, and helping the helpers. I view as a key part of my role. Now that we have a lot of remote workforce, hybrid workforce, and a lot less in office, it's harder for us to do the wraparound and be able to provide therapeutic space and environments for folks. So really having to get creative in how we meet people where they are at home.
Yeah, because these are your people too, and we forget when we're in the zone and we're doing our job and taking care of others, we forget to take care of ourselves sometimes too. So I think that's important. Heart-Led Leadership is the name of your book. Tell me about it and how you got this and why it's important for us.
Yeah, so taking on almost 12 years in my role as a CEO with Solari, loved every minute of it, and so many lessons learned. And Heart-Led Leadership was just birthed out of my experience. I felt as I hit my decade, I'm like, I have some lessons here that I learned sometimes the hard way, and I'd love to be able to share that with others, young leaders, emerging leaders, those that are aspiring, and really taking the lessons learned of supporting a very difficult workforce when it comes to the emotional and the empathy piece that comes with it. And so if you can lead in the environment that we have to support in the crisis work, I think you can learn some skills and apply it to a lot of different areas. And so Heart-Led Leadership was birthed out of those lessons. I hope folks find, even if it's just one nugget in there, it's a group of stories, anecdotes, and research to really just be able to, again, provide that hope and that little nugget of engagement for leaders to be more empathetic when it comes to their supporting their employees.
Well, that was going to be my lead-up question with you is how do you use empathy to lead, yet still be a leader to get the job done?
Yeah, that's the balance is clear. To me, I believe it's about transparency, honesty, and vulnerability.
I love that.
and being able to come before your workforce and be able to say, I'm struggling, or this is something that we're going to carry and we're going to work together on. And there's still accountability. There's still targets. There's people on the other end of those lines that have to be served, and we need to make sure that they're held to the utmost standards. But we don't lose our hope. We don't lose our purpose and our mission, and but we're also very clear on what the expectations are.
You mentioned community a lot throughout our chat right now. What can Scottsdale as a community and as a community as a whole, how can we help check in? How can we make sure that our own is taken care of, and to really help support mental health awareness for everyone?
Yeah, community is the answer to it. And in a wonderful community like Scottsdale, being able to ask the hard questions and be willing to ask the hard questions of folks. How are you doing really?
Right.
Checking in on folks. Not just a passive response. And if you are struggling, be okay and vulnerable to be able to speak up and ask for help.
Key. Yeah. Easiest yet most difficult piece of advice you think you'd give somebody?
Ooh. Vulnerability and authenticity.
Ooh. They are very hard.
They are.
I think sometimes we think we're being vulnerable and authentic to ourselves, but I still think sometimes it's not 100% there, right? We're still scared to share. And I think the more we do that, the more we find the commonality in that community between us that we didn't think existed in a way to really check in with one another.
Yeah.
Before we leave, we'll kind of turn a positive spin on this amazing information for us. But what is your favorite Scottsdale vibe?
Ooh. I'm a music junkie.
I love this. Good.
And so the concert scene in small venues just has an energy to it. And it's the crowd engagement where it's not just a crowd watching somebody perform, but it is everybody in the room is in on it.
I love that.
And so that connection, again, it feels like community. And so to me, it's the music scene here.
First time I've gotten that answer, I think. I ask that question to every single person at the end of the interview, and I love that. It's different. Justin, Thursday, thank you, and thank you to you, but your whole team. And I know, I mean, you've mentioned them a lot. It's a very tough job that you do, but thank you for what you do. Thank you for continuing to fight for Arizona, residents to have this availability for them. I really encourage you to take advantage. If you're not feeling well, ask someone for help. Call 988. Check in. There's plenty of resources for you. So I really appreciate everything that everyone is doing at Solari. Thank you, Scottsdale, for being a resident and here and check in with us every week. If you or someone you know really needs support, remember, you're not alone. Someone's always here to help. As speaking of help, Jeremy Mueller with State Farm Insurance is also here to help with all of your needs. He's been living in Scottsdale means knowing the value of community, and that's exactly what you get with Jeremy Mueller Insurance. Giving back to the community is a top priority for Jeremy and his team. He's been here for over 25 years helping neighbors just like you with home, auto, life, and business coverage. He knows our city, our lifestyle, and our needs. Plus, with 3 local offices, help is always close by. Give him a call at 480-515-5223 or visit jeremymueller.com because here we look out for one another. If you want to stay in the loop on everything happening around Scottsdale, we've got you covered. Click on one of our amazing Instagram or YouTube or Facebook links to find out everything that's going on in Scottsdale. In the meantime, have a great week, Scottsdale. Keep vibing, and I'll see you around town.